right, welcome to the Patriot Hour. We got Scott, Nate.
Nate is back in the building, folks.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
Oh, yeah, we've been waiting.
A long time, I've been missing it.
We did
Glad
a little
to
garage
have you.
talk, and while we were doing that, Nate popped up. We got into some voting stuff. Nate's got his sticker. I voted, and if you notice that we all are wearing the same shirts, there's a story behind that. I don't know if we'll get into that, but Nate voted, I voted. We're waiting. As soon as we're done here, Mike's going to go vote. But
Yep.
Nate, sure is nice to have you back, brother.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate it, man. I missed it a lot. I really did. I just haven't had time to get over here.
Is that mic working over here?
It's probably just
Can you hear me?
Is it?
Turn it up just a little bit, if you would. I don't know if I can hear him in my ear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That's a little better.
All right, he's up.
All right. Yeah, it's great to be back, guys. I appreciate you guys letting me be on your show.
Hey, this is your show, too.
It's ours. It's ours, even our listeners. So here we go. We got a little bit of what
What is this on the bottom of that screen for you? Is there something in the way? Is that a little...
Well,
Gosh darn it.
we're looking at some live TV, trying to look for some early results or numbers that are coming in. I know it's way too early, but sometimes you can base...
Yeah, you're getting Michigan stuff up there now or something.
Right.
But what do they have a countdown for? The midterms?
The special
coverage.
Yeah, the
okay.
show starts, because really by
4 or 5, you start getting...
Yeah, the numbers are so close to being solid, and plus it's evening, and...
I don't know if there's any rules on when they could start showing it, or it's just out of courtesy, or, you know.
Well, that's what we just talked about in the last show. I think... I don't know that, so hopefully somebody's going to comment on that soon. I don't know if they can show early opinions of... I think there's a law, but I don't know.
Well, here, the Q talked about the Hatch Act, because they were throwing it. If Q's so fake, they said 6 members of the Democratic Party last week or 2 weeks ago went to Congress with Hatch Act against Q, saying that he's disclosing lots of...
Sure.
And that has to do with trying to stir an election, and they wanted to know if this Q was a government official.
My answer to that is
doing
if
all
he's
this.
fake and you're discrediting him, then you can't turn around and use the information
You
you
can't
find
sue a
from
fake-
the anons to use it against Donald Trump or anybody else. So it's just another hypocrisy.
How do you go after something you don't believe in?
Right. Yeah, it's like being an atheist and then trying to tell me your opinion on God and religion.
Yeah.
To be atheist means shut up. You can't even talk about it. But
There's no God. There's no
right.
anything. So you cannot talk about that.
Oh, I got the POTUS tweets on. That's why.
So we're here, November 6th. I think, oh man, we really can't talk about the surprise yet, but Mikey's going to go vote here in a little bit. You guys will see some of that later. But we, during the garage talk, when Nate showed up, we obviously talking about voting day, what his experience was. Did you see anything, see big numbers at your polling station?
No,
No?
not at the time I went. I didn't wait in line. I walked right in.
We just got some new Q post.
Oh, man.
Not to, hold on. Let me bring this over. So it'll be up on the main screen up there. Let me get all these tickers off. So we just read,
Almost.
I know we read that big 2436.
We call that the preamble. I mean, I think that's what we decided to call that because it sounded like a preamble.
Yes. 2437 just came at 1216.
We are Q. Who's reading that one?
I'll read this one.
Thank you.
They want one thing and one thing, only one thing, power. They will lie, cheat, and promise you the world to obtain it. They do not love our country. They despise it. They want to destroy it. Show your love of country by voting today. Return power to the people. Return old glory to her former state. We honor those who fought and continue to fight to save and defend this great country. We will do our part. Will you do yours? Vote, vote, vote.
Bang, bang, bang.
Justice coming.
We got on that a little bit last show where he was doing the Q.
Look at that. Is that
Bang,
a
bang,
Q
bang.
in the sky?
Looks like it. Mm-hmm. Photoshop, man. It's fake. Fake news. That's fake news, people.
Let me see Twitter here. Stacy Dash. Ooh, that actress lady.
Oh, God. I was
Bless.
hoping to hear what she had to say today.
She's just posted a Q thing. Look.
Oh. What's
She
that
just
say?
did it.
This is what we fight for, the future of our children and grandchildren. We stand at the precipice. Do not fail. Do not falter.
Vote
Vote
red.
red. Oh, I'm sorry. I judged her because she's Hollywood.
No, yeah, she's actually goes on Fox a lot, and in the last few years has really been outcasted from Hollywood because of her,
Her views.
Yep.
Because of her views and opinions that they don't agree with.
I bet that just is devastating to
Funny.
her. I bet she cares so much.
It's
She's
funny
not-
how people tell you not to judge them, but then they
Yeah.
judge you so
That's
quickly on your opinions.
I was talking about that earlier. I seen something on one of the social medias where somebody said, "Did you vote today?" And the responses were yes, yes. And then he screwed up, in my opinion. He said, "Well, who'd you vote for?" Well, that's really none of your business. The point is vote, and that should be something that's private, unless you choose to make it somebody else's business. But I don't care who you voted for.
As long as you voted, you're doing your part in speaking your mind and what you believe in and what you want for our country.
Correct.
You're doing your part. Whether I agree with it or not, you're doing your part, and I respect that.
I think
agree.
revealing. I think if you reveal who you voted for, some want you to reveal it because they're looking for an argument or a debate, or most of the time a fight. But if you reveal it, then you are setting yourself up, and that's not.
Well, but me and you, the places that we hang out, the people that know us,
Yeah.
they know who we voted for.
They don't want to ask either.
They know
Yeah.
who we voted for. I mean, it's.
Just tell them red wave.
I tried not to. I tried not to go straight. I went through and I read everybody's names. I went through, did what I did on what I know about everybody.
Yeah.
See, that's one thing that I think, and I used to do it, and my old man told me, he goes, you don't have to vote for every one of them. So by going straight ticket, some people just do that. But one year, the last election, I tried to go split ticket, and then I got to the people that I didn't know anything about, judges and,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And I thought, ugh.
What do
So
you
I didn't
do?
know what to do. So I was just like trying to
Either
eeny,
vote the
meeny,
way
miny,
that-
mo, but then I...
Either vote the way that you lean towards anyway, or you don't vote at all.
Yeah, but some
Yeah.
of those, they don't tell you what party they're from. Like if there's 6 judges on the bench, unless I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing...
No, and it takes your research. Like this election, I feel like I'm more in tune than ever
I
in
know,
the past, right?
and I think a lot of people are.
I was telling Scott before he got here, I was at Crap Donald's through the
Oh,
drive-through.
You can't
and
say that. It was the Golden Arch. That's-
Golden Arch, whatever. I said Crap Donald's.
Oh, yeah.
But I was at the window, and I've seen the guy there before inside, whatever, a few years ago. But he's like, "Oh, real energetic." I was like, "Did you get out and vote today?" He's like, "No, I honestly don't know nothing about that," and was like making this,
But he can tell you how to beat Zelda.
or his favorite TV show on Netflix, 9 seasons, who was marrying who was screwing
Well,
who.
you know what?
and-
And I also respect that. Don't go vote just because you're told to go vote.
Yeah.
Do your research and vote for people
Well, that's
that
what I
you
told him
think you
straight
should vote for.
when he gave me this whole reason of why he's not going to, because he knows nothing, he doesn't. And I was like, well, that's your own fault. It's
Right.
it's our own duty.
Although you
to,
should, when it
oh
comes
man, it should start in
towards
infancy.
election time, you should really start doing some research. You should look into it because every election affects your life,
Yes.
whether
Right.
you believe it or not.
And especially these ones we were talking about, these local ones that you're sending up are basically people that are
Going to affect you directly.
For 2020.
Your township, your county,
Yeah.
but then those are also the people that are going to make federal laws. They're going to be the ones on the House and Senate floor making a motion and voting yes or no to...
our electoral for the 2020 election or something,
The man in office now has a lot of things he wants to accomplish, and if he gets that support, we can, we as a country can move even more forward in a positive direction. But if we get outvoted, it's going to be a stalemate. And man, if it's a stalemate, what they call a lame duck session for the next 2 years, the media will have a frenzy
Oh, yeah.
on you. He ain't getting anything accomplished. Well, because they're blocking everything. So you got to just go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for.
As long as
protect
you
the
vote
vote.
intelligently.
Yes.
Don't
And
just go
blindly.
Correct.
blindly and
Correct.
just throw out a vote just because that's what your neighbor did or your cousin or uncle did.
We're going to have to look this up too, unless somebody out there has a comment, can comment on this or give us the information. But several years ago when I worked right down the road in one of the factories, got into a debate with a guy. Imagine that. Even at 20 years old, I was debating at lunchtime. And he asked if I voted, and I said, well, sure, I voted. And he's like, oh, whatever, I don't think you did. I think you just come in and run your mouth. He came back in the next day, apologized, and said, I seen you voted. Congratulations. I'll debate with you anytime at the lunch table. I went, whoa. How do you know that I voted? And apparently there's a website that you can at least find out if
Yes, somebody voted.
you voted.
Yeah.
It
that's-
doesn't tell you who you voted for.
No,
And I thought,
it doesn't give
really?
you all that.
Yeah.
No, it just
Shows that
puts
you
a
showed
ticky
up.
next to your
You
name
showed up.
or a check mark next to your name saying you showed up and voted.
I want to know where to get that information because the next time I'm going to start checking in on
Yeah.
people that I debate with because
You
I'll
didn't
simply
even
say
vote.
you didn't vote, so I'm not going to debate with you.
Yeah.
You have
yeah.
no say so in this
Right.
matter because you did not take time out of your busy day to go cast your vote.
And you know that'll blow their minds.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do you know that? That's illegal. No,
It's
I
not.
know it's
Public
legal to
information.
see.
It's
Right.
illegal for me to know who you voted for.
Correct.
Without you telling me.
That's correct.
It's not illegal for me to know if you voted or not.
Right.
Last Q post up here just says protect the vote, and there's a Twitter for the Justice Department, the actual Justice Department's official.
It says Justice Department status 1059 and a long.
And it's their official Justice Department's Twitter because it's got the blue little.
You see what they're doing here? It follows the last tweet, or not tweet, the last Q post where he said, if you see buses, if you see things out of the ordinary, now they're just following up on it where it is against the law. Here's the voting rights violations, the alerts, etc.
Number to call if you see something, say something type thing.
Yeah, the last show we did a little bit on it to where the Q post was saying, maybe bring that back up in case we pick up some new people that didn't see it, but he was warning of buses. If you see a bus pull up and a bunch of people get out, there's something funny going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well,
I don't know too many buses that pick up 50 people. I mean, Mike and I were
if
kind of
they
laughing.
if it's a bus that runs from a retirement home,
That's one thing.
Right here.
Right.
Panic in D.C. if you witness Antifa, they're calling out, or any other organization stationed at key voter making threats or attempting to use scare tactics, voter intimidation basically, please contact your local authorities. They got internal comms suggesting preparations are being made. This is a day ago or two that he posted this. They're conducting at 29 key battleground locations around the country. See something, say something. Ununiformed and uniformed and non-uniformed personnel will be stationed. So there'll be some plain clothes kind of blending in. You won't know that who they are. If you witness anything out of the ordinary,
Buses dropping off people with guide and or instructor, and this is what him and I were laughing about. You see a bus show up and you see somebody like leading that group, and maybe they're saying, now remember, this is what the card's going to look like. Maybe, you know, you got to report that because that's just, you're leading people. You can't do it.
yeah,
Anyway.
So, look at this one here that he,
I like that.
Guardians of the Pedophiles,
Oh, no kidding.
Panic in D.C., now in theaters, and then FISAgate.
I want to see all three of those movies.
Unbelievable.
I was going to ask you guys about this earlier. Did you see that in our area in Michiana, a couple got arrested for raping and beating 24 children from 6 months to 8 years old? They had video of them having sex with 6-month-olds.
The pedophilia ring. That's local. That's close.
That's real close.
It's right here at home. Yeah, no, that honestly,
they,
that
How
sick shit.
did that many people allow their kids to be around those people?
How did that happen? Are these babysitters? Is this a member of a group where there's lots of families around, or is it, you know, how did they get their hands on that many kids, and how did it go unseen or unknown? What was the age groups you said?
From 6 months to 8 years old.
Wow.
Well, they're at that age, maybe. I don't. Ugh.
Exactly like you just said. How does that happen? How did people like that get a hold of that many kids?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to dig into that one. But you know that couple's going to get a defendant, which in my mind, if there's enough proof, just kill them now, hang them now. But
yeah,
it's kind of like the guy that sent all the bombs, and then the other guy that walked in and killed people at the spa, and then what was the other big one? The shooter in Pittsburgh. Overwhelming proof that these people did these horrific acts, and they all get taxpayer public attorneys. There's enough.
And you know what? And it sucks. I don't think any.
Well, everyone's
attorney
got
should ever stand
the
up.
right to.
Is that true though? I mean, if
right
you're
to
caught
representation.
red-handed, what are we wasting time
The
for?
laws in our country state that you have right to representation.
Yeah, that's due process or whatever.
Even if you're illegal.
Yeah.
You got to prove that you're not guilty.
Yes.
Let's real quick here. I know this.
Somebody fights for that. It's paid to fight for that.
Because that's what when they read you your rights, you have the right to representation or an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. That way, it's just a fair process or whatever.
Can you scroll this one up just a hair? Because I don't know who this is. Latest election polls. What state or area is this? Oh, okay, so now we got results. I don't know why. These must be early results.
Oh, they're telling you over here. See this race?
Okay.
Montana.
So go to the Indiana one, Braun versus Donnelly. So we're looking at, maybe Mike can just pop it up there for a second. It's kind of boring to look at, but I do gamble on football and stuff like that.
Here's
So
some
this looks like an
numbers for you.
over-under, or are they already reporting some
Look at numbers here.
2.6 of the people are already in, maybe 3.5% of the people are already in. Donnelly's a favorite by 1 point. I don't understand what I'm looking at, but I was getting way excited. I don't know. We'll have to look into that here in a little bit. I don't think we're going to see any early results for a couple more hours. There must be some kind
We're
of
not going to
rule.
see any results
I don't
that matter
think so
at all
either.
anyway for a
Right.
couple hours. They
Right.
don't matter for a few hours at least.
I think again, I know we're beating a dead horse, but there's got to be some kind of a rule or law. That's why they wait till 3 or 4 p.m. to start showing. Because usually when I get home from work, and in the past, they'll say 3 to 5%.
What?
From work?
You made time out of your busy schedule to go vote and then went to work? Oh, okay. All right. Just
I know that's a joke amongst some people, but in years past, I'd get home, get on the couch, and start watching, and at 4 o'clock, only 3 to 5% of the precincts were
Coming in. And,
right. So,
And with it all
Maybe
being
that's-
electronical, it's just funny. That.
well, I filled out a paper today.
All right, here you go, Scott.
All right.
Are all ballots still paper, folks? I mean, if you see something different, let me know. I would have thought by now we'd be hitting the screen,
yeah, but it's too easy for
fraud.
well, it's too easy for an accidental click.
Oh yeah, can I back up? Nope, sorry, you're already going for it. Yeah,
If you fill in a circle, you know what circle you filled in. You stare at that circle before you filled it in.
right. And you have to read carefully too. And if you go straight
Dimpled
ticket, you're
Chads.
fine. But you would not want to do, if you were a straight ticket voter, you would not want to walk in there and hope that you've seen Republican, so you circled it. If you are not a Republican, check here. Or vice versa. You'd be like, ugh. So I wonder in different precincts, are all ballots the same across the country?
Well,
No, because remember,
obviously not
for a
this
long
election.
time, some was still using the hanging chads.
That's what I'm saying. So
Dimpled Chads.
Yeah, the hanging chads that wouldn't
What's-
punch through and they'd be hanging.
There's a button
yeah.
they push or something that hits the one they want.
So there was digital. I'm sure now we're almost all on this digital new
it's
system.
a reader. It's a reader as soon as you fill in the blanks. And what's funny is this is like high school. You got to fill in the bubble.
Yeah.
I'm always outside the bubble. But
yeah,
it said
I don't fill it in very well.
But it said it recorded my vote. So when we were back in school, were they just really trying to pound it in our brain that we need to fill in the blank
You need to color in the lines.
or did they just need to see a little bit of lead on there?
Yeah.
You know?
Look right here, real quick. Look at this one. Q has not violated the Hatch Act because that's what they're trying to say. But over here, in addition to prohibitions discussed hereon, federal employees in the following agencies, divisions, and positions are further restricted under the Hatch Act and cannot take active part in political management or political campaigns, i.e., engage in political activity in concert with political party, candidate, or for partisan political office or partisan political group. And then right here, he highlighted, Q did, Office of Director of National Intelligence, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, DIA, Defense Intelligence. I mean, they're all labeled in here. Federal Bureau, FBI, you got CIA, NSA. They're all in here. There's even more not highlighted, but you can look at U.S. Office of Special Counsel. It even gets into federal
I'm not a lawyer,
contractors.
Mike, but in red, they're trying to say those particular offices, if you're
How it
in that
works.
personnel, you're not allowed to do these things? Or
A covered employee may be a candidate of a nonpartisan election, may register to vote, may assist in voter registration, may attend political fundraising, may attend political rallies, may express opinions about candidates and issues if the expression of political activity, however, i.e., it just kind of, and then you got Q's post that he somehow brings up. Acceptable turn on comms, filter applied, legal analysis cannot point in any particular candidate or party prior to November 7th.
there you go.
There's that date.
So this is kind of what we were talking about, right? You
Yes.
need to keep your mouth shut until and after. You're not allowed, if you work for the federal government in those positions, to influence anybody, right?
So read that right there. Why did
Why did select senior members of the D Party,
six of them
send a letter to Don McGaughan in early October outlining Hatch Act violations, REQ?
regarding Q?
So we just talked about military tribunals. They're making sure that everybody's aware that this sort of thing can happen if certain laws are broken. So they're highlighting, listen, folks, this is in the book, on the books. This is law. We can penalize you. Oh.
Yes.
So they're just opening everybody's eyes so nobody's caught off guard. Because, if they didn't do this, if Q wasn't doing this and helping us to understand, and then we talk to our people, if they just did it blindly, it's going to be like, oh my God, this sounds like a dictatorship or whatever. They even asked Kavanaugh while they were interviewing him what was, asking him about, tribunals still happen or could happen in this country, right? Oh yeah, they still can happen. They just don't happen that often, or in a while they haven't happened.
So a lot of the media does, like when they talk about the Logan Act, where it's like, for example, John Kerry going overseas, doing political things before POTUS, after POTUS, but yet he's no longer
greasing the wheel as a non-political.
It's totally against the
as
rules.
A non-federal employee. He's not part of the entity anymore, but he's over there just
barfing
up a storm trying to.
It's like, and the media likes to take it to the level of so it's like
that's governmental inside trading.
Yes,
essentially.
Or like MK Ultra, we bring that up. In the 70s or 60s when it actually happened, and then people started hearing about it in the 70s. You talked about MK Ultra, mind control. It was it's a conspiracy. 70s, 80s, 90s. Finally, things get disclosed. You're like, oh my God, look, declassification talks about mind control in the 70s. That's old news. Nobody confirms it until it's really. So the Hatch Act, they say, well, or the Logan Act, nobody's been charged with that in 150 years.
Have you guys noticed the word conspiracy lately has been thrown around by liberals and leftists in arguments? It's almost like now, as soon as they use that word, they're basically saying everything that comes out of your mouth after that is bullcrap. You're just part of a conspiracy movement. Scott, you're part of the QAnon. I see your show, blah, blah. You're just a conspiratist.
My 6-year-old son asked me 2 nights ago, what does conspiracy theory mean? I never talked about it around him or anything. I have no clue where he picked it up.
Because it's the new word that it's their polite way of saying
it was invented by
we're idiots.
The CIA or something. That word coined in the 50s.
Republicans and Trump followers and QAnons right now, any conservative-minded person, any constitutionalist, they're all conspiratists. Wait a minute.
If your story doesn't follow the mainstream, it is
right.
conspiracy.
We're trying to defend the Constitution. You're trying to undermine it with reverse psychological warfare of using this word conspiracy. So now you have identified all of us as deplorables. They learned it from the people they follow. That just drives me crazy. I never was called a conspiracist until Trump ran, and then somebody decided on CNN to use that word, and it's like, well, but they won't allow it to go both ways.
Well, how does this day and age work? We're in a world where if you have the president of the United States, and you think you know a little something, you got military around them, people with high-level intelligence, and when I say intelligence, we don't mean like they're smart, just that they have the foresight, they have the access to computers and
to facts.
Intelligence, but they know
facts.
They know knowledge. They have knowledge because they know facts.
They know what just happened in Afghanistan because there's cameras, there's microphones, there's troops on the ground.
People like that they see a whole lot more than people like us get to see until we do a lot of research on it.
And CNN can't be at the, if something big happens where the government's at, maybe like a war zone, and they report on something, isn't the media only there because they got the phone call of some sort, like, hey, this just blew up?
It's second hand to them.
Yes. Now, when I got to my ship in late 97, brand new, 18 years old, big ship, 6,000 people. I'm in some little classroom learning. I had to go through engineering training for about a month. And we're watching. We have a live CNN feed. We had satellite on the TV way over, floating in the Persian Gulf, satellite. And it would come in and out. But we're watching it. They had it on. We got done doing some work, and I'm watching it. And it was like, breaking news. I'm like, oh. Boom, 2 pilots aboard the USS George Washington crashed and died. I'm like, what?
I'm on
that ship. 10 minutes later on the 1MC, this is a captain. We had 2 pilots. I'm like, oh my God. How did CNN report that to me all the way back to my own ship before I heard
somebody's on the books or somebody's being paid? But
these people have tight connections, whether it's CNN and this guy likes them, so he'll call them, or if the next guy that takes over that ship might be right-leaning and likes Fox, he'll call them.
Good.
And that's an insider.
Sure.
So we know how that works, but
the military has to be late giving you the news because lawyerism. They have to make sure.
They don't give names. They didn't say lieutenant this and that died. They just said pilot, so it's generic. But the bigger thing is if you have the president on the TV like now and the military next to him saying this is an invasion, and then the news is really like, what does a president and military know, folks? This is a caravan.
Yeah.
Who do you believe in this day and age? And who, what does the media know?
We're
started on the caravan.
We're moving. We're going to get into this, so I'm glad we're going this way. We're moving towards the 14th Amendment, but I'm always going to believe, and it's because of my morals and values and where I was raised and how I was raised, I'm always going to lean towards the military and the proper channels, proper respect. I'm not going to lean towards a guy in a suit that says, "Believe me, I was there."
Yeah.
After watching him get fired because he said that too many times. So, I don't have a problem following my president. I don't have a problem following the military. I don't know why anybody would want to take firsthand, which is not really firsthand, it's actually secondhand knowledge from a news source. I mean, at some point, you just have to hope and pray the people in power got it under control. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Are we still rolling here? Maybe we have it's election day.
No,
Probably
just,
people pounding on the. Yeah, they're making sure we're voting, folks. You're out there.
You guys keep
pounding on the door.
I'll go check it out, see what's going on.
Oh boy, now we're getting blindsided. So
You guys,
well, Nate and I will move quickly into the 14th Amendment, which we just had some fun conversations. So I guess I'll lead the conversation with a question to Nate. Nate, what do you feel about the border and the 14th Amendment and those that say, because the 14th Amendment
I'm
says...
for all our amendments.
That's good.
I am for all our amendments.
That's being a constitutionalist. The problem with the 14th
I'm
Amendment
for-
now is what?
What we talked about earlier was, okay, it states that a child born in our country is legal in our country.
A citizen that moment. Yep.
Yes. And I'm all for that.
Me too.
But don't come firing at me because mom got caught as an illegal and got separated from her child.
Correct.
You can only have it one way. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you're going to decide that child is also illegal, or you're going to agree with me that we're allowed to separate that mother from that child.
And where does that child go?
The child goes into foster care now, which we pay for, and I'm okay with that.
And if people want to argue that the child is legal because of the 14th Amendment, I can maybe even agree with that. But it's like...
I have to.
You can't argue with it because we're constitutionalists.
Okay. So then if people want to scream, that's a law, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, then down at our border, we have a law that you can't cross it. And if you do get caught, you get arrested. And if you happen to be with a kid or something, you might get separated. And that's what was going on. That's laws.
It's a law.
That's a law too. But people are screaming bloody murder.
We
about
don't
that.
like that law, though.
Well, every one of us has broke laws. Every one of us has paid consequences for breaking laws.
If any one of us go commit a DUI, they're going to throw us in a cage, and we're going to have to hire a lawyer and pay a lot of money.
We're not going to say
Nobody
that that's
feels sorry for you.
unconstitutional. We're not going to say that they're not allowed to do that to us.
Yeah.
Because of who I am.
They separated that drunk driver from his kid that was in the back seat.
Yeah.
How horrible.
Wait, no, they're allowed to do that.
I've been in that situation, and my kids weren't allowed to go into those bars with me.
And see, now we get into too many
see my
facts.
kids
If you just say all the facts, if it's just like this guy got pulled over and he got arrested for 40 days and this kid got separated. Whoa, that's horrible. But it's like, well, he was
Yeah, but he broke the law.
DUI. Yeah, there's all these little things that maybe I didn't
he
say.
broke the law.
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, coming into our country illegally is breaking the law.
Oh, a big law, a federal law.
So why is that not the same thing?
Now, I did
Exactly.
make a joke, but
Exactly.
it's not a joke. It's actually some principle here. And I'm not talking about Mexicans. I'm talking about anybody. I'm talking if you're from Czechoslovakia and you want to jump the border, or
illegally.
Canadians, or wherever. I'm not beating up on a race. But what I'm saying is there's been this idea that if you can get here illegally, you just won. You get a reward, and that's called Medicaid, Medicare. You get all the benefits that I don't get to use yet because I'm not retired or I have a job. I got a job, but there's almost a sense of a reward for coming here. So my humor, and I'm saying, if you're going to get a reward, how about we make that a very tough challenge, 200 yards of landmines and crocodiles in the river, and if you happen to make it here, then we do want you because you were smart and tough enough to make it. But I'm not willing to open the borders And here's the scary thing, and a lot of people laugh at me, but we never thought they'd use airplanes, right? 9/11. Nobody could ever imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's strict rules on airplanes. So if you got 5,000 people just walking across the border, what if one of them crazy SOBs inject everybody with a certain virus,
Chemical
or
virus.
what's the one that I said earlier, the Ebola virus? Yeah. You want our military to pass a physical to come back into the country after they've been deployed. You want our ancestors to go through Ellis Island and get physicals and get checked out, but you don't want these people checked out? Or are you just
open the borders and just let them walk in?
Yeah.
And that's
go
my
everything
way
goes
they want
on.
to go once they get here.
Even like being in the military, when we pulled into other countries, we were going for 7 months on the ship. We had to get a series of shots depending on what countries. They kind of looked in advance and know what things are still in that country floating around, and we get the shots to protect. That way we don't go into these places, come back to the ship, and then get back to the country and spread it to our loved ones and families when we get back, and then it takes over the country.
How's come
They think about it. It's logical.
the open border believers, that's all they say is open borders, but they don't understand the kinetics involved, the money involved. Are you actually, this is what they need to emphasize on, but they won't because they can't, because it costs too much money and it's a big problem.
Well,
Are you just opening up the gates and they just walk freely across? Is that what you want?
It goes back to what you've said multiple times, Scott. Open the gates. Let them in. But at that point, they just get to go wherever they want. So let them set up camp in your backyard.
Yep.
Let them walk into your house, take a beer out of your fridge.
And just start living.
Eat your
Do
steak.
whatever
Start
they wanna do.
living on your property.
They
man.
don't have to abide by the same laws that we have to abide by.
What?
Then they might as well. We might as well first off call it.
No,
anarchy.
I'm only talking about this law at the
Yeah,
border.
right.
And then when they come here, you just want them to abide by all the other laws that you abide
And
by.
some-
And when they don't know them and break them, they're just...
And some of them are so silly or dumb enough that they think, well, I'm clear up here in Minnesota or over up here in New York. They're never going to make it. Oh, so you're willing to bend a law that has nothing to do with you or affect you, but there are citizens on that border that find drugs and see that kind of thing come on their
I told
property.
you about the one.
That border is
the guy-
somebody's backyard.
Nate's got a cool story.
There's a rancher out there, has thousands of acres. People come from Mexico with drugs, and they drop one shoe that has a GPS signal on it. People from this side know where to go to.
Yeah.
They pick up those drugs and run. It has to be within hours or something.
Yeah.
This guy has a collection of hundreds of shoes, one shoe, in a row in his garage that he's went out through his ranch, and he's collected.
Jeez.
They drop one shoe that has a GPS signal on it, so people know where to pick it up.
Oh, man. That's
So
crazy.
think about this, and this is
Crazy.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to act like one of these guys. I'm going to look at Mike here, I guess, and he's all for open borders. And I'm a rancher, and I got 4,000 acres, and I got employees. I got a family. Plus, you got the community and other people. I mean, when you say the border, the government doesn't own the border. They do. It's a line, but there are
They own
residents.
this
There
side.
are
I'm saying that's
property-
somebody's backyard.
That
Like
could
their
be-
house is over here.
Right.
They got 20 acres and it butts up to
So
that.
you wake up to go
That's
out
somebody's
and,
backyard.
and water your cattle, and you come across 5 or 6 or whatever. I don't care where they're at from the world. I'm not saying Mexicans, but they got packs on, and a couple of them got guns on, and they see you, and you see them, and because they saw you, they decided, well, you're
We got to shoot you now.
Yeah.
boom, you're dead. You were just killed, and it happens, and the media don't
Because
report
somebody
on
in New York said, it's
Right.
not going to bother us any. Let's just let them
Yeah,
in.
they're not.
No, I've seen these documentaries. These people down there, they take up arms. They do like roving watches in the evening. They're like
Yeah.
patriots of like sorts. And like, well, nobody else is doing it. We got to do it.
You and I have watched one video where they got chased, and they were in
These
serious
people
trouble.
come home sometimes and they found illegals in their barns or something because they're on the bordering of the border. Like they're like the minute you cross over the government's fence that we might have or might not have there at that particular location.
It's like
they're in somebody's yard.
It's like 80
Yeah.
yards that
Yeah,
the
they're not on public land.
federal land that's
They are
owned,
on
border land or whatever you call it.
somebody's private property.
Yes, and
It's-
it's somebody's backyard, and then they creep through and there's a shed and then there's water. They're thirsty. If people are desperate, they're desperate, right?
So
I
when
mean,
people try to argue with you, the fact is if they come into my yard, they'd be trespassing.
Correct.
Well, wait. As soon as they cross that border, they're on
they're
somebody
in
else's
somebody's
yard. They're
That's
trespassing.
What we've
They're not thinking logically about.
and
They
again,
think
then
there's
we
just a
argue
road
with
that-
Americans here. They'll say, Scott, that wall's going to cost a lot of money. Well, that wall will cost a lot less money than it cost us to have illegal immigrants here.
$100 billion a year immigration is costing us.
And the wall's a one-time fee that's tangible and done and paid for.
They said 43,000 to 52,000. They can't track it because it's illegal, but the hospitals are doing the best they can. So a baby costs how much? I don't know. I had insurance when my kids were born, but it still cost me money. But I pay the bill. or my insurance.
They say like 20 grand or something nowadays.
At least.
Or something.
Well, okay, well, who's paying that? Well, and you'll hear the left say, "Well, that's all lies. They're not on Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid." Who pays the bill? Mm-hmm. Who's paying the bills? You know,
Exactly.
I'm not against people coming here. There's lots of ports of entry to come into this country.
There's a higher percentage of bills that don't get paid to a hospital than ones that do get paid.
I think
that's why the ones that are paying so much more.
That we just
to make
had,
up for the ones that don't pay.
My sister works at the hospital, and what's his name? I won't bring his name up, but his dad's actually vice president or big shot in the hospital, and he said the number was like 90 to 10. 90% don't pay their bills, so 10% end up paying, and hospitals are still profitable. So what's that mean?
Jeez.
Obviously, they can afford to stay in business, but
because they're charging the ones that do pay so much money.
So all this, we all need fair health care. If everybody would pay their bill when they go into the hospital, then we would have lower.
When
bills.
you go down this with somebody that doesn't agree, like, Scott, they're just hungry. I mean, they get to this point where they'll act like, well, the 14th Amendment gives them rights and laws. And they're like, well, then we got laws at the border that they're breaking to get here to even have that baby. And they're like, ugh. And then it finally gets to that point where they just end up acting like they're just hungry and this and that. Well, we have that here. A homeless man can't just go into the 7-Eleven and grab this and that. If he gets caught, everyone's like, yeah.
You broke a law.
Nobody's like, oh, he's just hungry.
You know my answer to the 14th Amendment? Stop them from crossing, and then the 14th Amendment never comes into play. And when somebody goes, well, how you
14th Amendment does not exist if they don't illegally come over here.
Yep. If we
No, because, and I told you the history, and some of you'll know this, and if you don't, look it up, read into it. I did. I was blown away. The 14th Amendment came into play to take, and I'm sorry, it's a tough subject, but slaves and indentured servants and blah, blah, blah back then. The government, and if you don't believe me, look into it. It was a way to pull money from people, right? So the slaves and all the babies that were born here under slavery for all those years weren't citizens.
Taxes. Yeah,
well, because they weren't citizens.
Yeah, they weren't citizens.
So the 14th Amendment said, we can capture a whole group of people
guarantee
that are already
rights for everybody.
If you're here
we
now,
get tax money.
If you're here now, you're a citizen, and if you were born here, you're a citizen. And all of a sudden, there were 700,000 to 12 or 1.2 million people.
This wasn't written. We know it wasn't written for like, we have laws that illegals can't come here. But if you do make it over and then you have a baby, you're granted this awesome little golden egg. Yeah. That wasn't definitely but that is a loophole that people are jumping on.
So the answer to that is, cool, you're a citizen now, get a job, and I'm going to tax you. Yeah. Problem is if you're born here, so 50,000 this year are born here, they're babies, you're not going to collect any money from them for 18 to 20 years until they get out of college or high school and start working. So who pays for that?
Trump said it's big business around the world. There's pregnant mothers that get flights to come here, and there's tours now. They come here, they get them on buses, and they drive from California through Nevada, and as they're doing it, ladies are going into labor.
Weird.
And this is a big business.
And then they pull on the heartstrings of American people and senators and liberals like that.
My
and say,
kid is a United States citizen.
Let me ask you this: if you flew here on a vacation and you were from Australia and your wife just went into labor, okay, cool, my son or my daughter gets to be a United States citizen, but you were here on vacation. Are you going to stay here?
Well, you're here legally.
That might be their way that they want in.
Passport. You've got everything you need to come here, but you can't stay here.
Are you going to leave your kid here?
Do you want to leave your kid here?
No, they go back, and the kid gets dual citizenship, probably of sorts or something.
Why would they go back?
Because they have to, because they're illegal.
Yeah, they can't. But that was their thing. That now they go back, like, look, our kid was born in America. That's probably huge in other countries. Yeah, but that probably gets that kid a jump-started career.
Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic?
Yep.
So these are the loopholes, and people argue for them. They don't even know what they're arguing for. I hate arguing with a fellow American about the border, and my big thing is to secure it up for the human trafficking going on, and then the harsh drug flow that happens. And then the third thing, because I really don't care that much. I know it's big numbers, but I honestly do feel a little compassion for the people that are coming. I don't think it should keep happening, but I think that is third in rank compared to these other drugs kill people, and then these the human trafficking is just horrible.
Talking about all the people that come over here. They come over here for a better life.
Yes,
I'm compassionate.
I can get that. I get it, but it's still against the law.
People that are arguing.
I don't argue for it. See, I'm compassionate like you are, but we don't argue for it to keep happening.
We talk about them coming over here, and it should be okay for them to come over here.
I don't get that.
Don't do anything with their lives.
I know.
I mean, they're guys that sit at home and get jobs because something bad happened in their life. They get a place to live because something bad happened in their life. They get a vehicle because something bad happened in their life, and they're sitting there fighting for.
I will offer this.
Yeah.
I will let 1 for 1. For every liberal that's willing to leave this country, I'll take a hard-working immigrant.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
they're,
at least
they're fighting
they wanna
to
come-
let these people in here, but they're also the first people to complain about
Didn't have
how
it.
bad our country is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Everything that's wrong. Well, if it's so bad, why do those people want to come here?
Well, Norway's pretty cool, Nate.
You know what? Go.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
wrong with people? If you do not like where you're at,
You don't-
leave. If
right.
your neighborhood sucks, move into
But a
another
lot of people
neighborhood.
find out they can't.
That's a great analogy.
But a lot of people, like Nate just said, if you don't like it here, leave. But you really can't. That's how crazy it is. Like, you can't.
Why
just
is
do
that?
it.
Why
You
is
can.
that?
It's like
It's a-
Canada
But you have
won't
to
take
follow
you.
laws.
Yeah, they're gonna find out. Like, okay, I'll take your advice, and they go to. I'm going to Canada.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that,
I
and they
told
find
a-
out Canada wants. Well, you want to have 50,000 in a bank account,
I
or
told a guy-
100,000, and like otherwise they won't want you.
A guy told me the other day, he goes, Sweden's so much better than this country. And I came back with, do you know what it takes to become a citizen of Sweden? I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year process. After your first year, they'll allow you to move there, but you're there on a working visa. You must have X amount of credit. You must be an able-bodied citizen. So they have all these great social programs, Scott. And I'm
They
like,
don't
You
really
have
want
to,
you.
Yeah, but
you
everybody-
have to abide by laws and follow rules in order to become a citizen.
Yeah.
Huh?
go jump their
Imagine
border.
that.
Go do Mexico's, which is amazing.
I dare you to try to jump in Canada or Mexico illegally. I dare you to.
Yeah.
Well, wait, that'll.
But you can't live up there. You might be able to get in there, but you can't live. You can't support your family. I mean,
try it.
Yeah.
You can't. You can live there,
Yeah,
but you can't live.
right.
Like you can get in there illegally. I guarantee it. There's ways, but once you're there, they don't coddle to the illegals that come in. They kick you back out.
Yeah. Go to your local magistrate or something and say, you know, I have an aching back and you guys need to lower your drug cost and blah, 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 and I need
Yeah.
mental health. And they're going to be like, well, who the heck are you? Well,
Oh wait.
I'm here illegally. Well, we have no compassion for you. They're either A, throwing you in jail or taking you back to the border and kicking you the hell out.
You have to prove that you're going to offer something to that country in order for them to accept you.
And they don't understand. They want you to be of some certain value or be able to help them.
Yes.
They don't
You want to come here because you believe our country is this great?
Yeah, prove it.
Then prove it.
Yeah.
Show us that you're going to
They don't look at the
give
other
us
way
something
around.
in return.
That's right.
That's how
You're
you
gonna
win that
offer
argument.
something to make our country be even more great.
Yep.
All right, we're at the 45-minute mark. We got about 20 minutes. We're gonna be heading out here for me to go vote. So, what? Any closing, final thoughts?
Vote. That's
Vote,
it.
vote, vote.
Vote. That's
Whether
your-
we agree with which way you vote doesn't matter.
Yep.
Your opinion does not matter unless you vote.
Think about the unbelievable right that was given to you by our ancestors that bled and died for that. I mean, really think about it, and that should inspire you to go vote. If it doesn't,
Nothing that you argue or debate with me about matters if
Right.
you didn't vote.
Yep.
Because you didn't do your part in trying to make it the way you want it.
remember you are on a list or not of a list of somebody that did or did not vote. So, just do it. Just do it.
And once again, thanks guys for having me back. I
Oh, yeah.
really missed it, and I appreciate being here.
We'll be seeing a lot more of Scott and Nate hopefully here in the future. We're going to be on. We're going to try to be doing this Patriot Hour once a week again, folks. I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless. Godspeed each and every one of you. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update video.
Protect those rights.
And get out and vote.